we are going to show SR-MPLS segment routing with MPLS. So we are not using LDP. So this is shortest scenario to understand about SR-MPLS, and we are example there is two CE router and communicating with each other using SR-MPLS. Okay, this is SR-MPLS. So okay, this is SR-MPLS. MPLS segment routing. So what is we are using the iOS router XE, that means CSR 1000B 6.12.3. this version we are using. So there is 3 XE router. All those router are enable MPLS and enable segment routing. So we are going to configuration sheet. How we are configuring, and this one. This is segment routing. This is segment routing configuration. So there is the step configuring segment routing in global configuration mode. First step. Second step, configuring segment routing on OSPF or ISIS network. Configuring prefix SID for OSPF. Fourth step, configuring prefix attribute and flag clear. Configuring explicit null attribute with OSPF. Configuring segment routing label distribution protocol preference with OSPF. Disable LDP. This is ultimate goal of our this lab. Disable LDP. So there is the 7th step. So our goal is we are not using LDP signaling protocol or RSBP. So we are using just segment routing and segment routing with MPLS. So what is the configuration? This is the configuration. Segment routing MPLS, segment routing in global configuration mode. Connected prefix SID map, address family IPv4. This is the loopback IP. This is node SID, node segment ID, index 100, range 1, exit address family. That config. Oh, okay. We are also check in the router show running config. So this is the segment routing MPLS, connected prefix SID map, address family IPv4. This is one node segment ID, index 100, exit address family, this one. And second step, configure segment routing on OSPF network. Segment routing on OSPF network. This is the IGP protocol. We are using OSPF or other ISIS. So we can choose anyone. So I'm choosing OSPF because I love OSPF. And also ISIS is the very good protocol for IGP. So I'm familiar with OSPF, so I configure MPLS on IGP that like OSPF. So configuring terminal, router OSPF process ID, segment routing. This is enable segment routing on OSPF command. Segment routing area 0, this is the OSPF area, and this area in MPLS. Segment routing area 0 MPLS exit area. This is the configuration of MPLS enable on OSPF. So what is the command? This is the MPLS enable command on OSPF. Router ID segment routing area 0 MPLS, segment routing MPLS, passive interface loopback 0. This is the OSPF command actually. This is the network. This is network is the loopback address of this router 1. This is to command to enable segment routing on OSPF. Okay, so next step, you are going to next step, configuration prefix SID for OSPF, configuring prefix SID for OSPF. So prefix SID segment ID. How can I configure prefix SID? This is the command. Prefix SID. The prefix SID segment routing MPLS connected prefix SID map address family IPv4, and this one is loopback IP. This one is loopback IP, that is 4R1 1.1.1. Index, I set index 100 range 1 address family. This is the actually step 1. This is actually not a step 1, also same. This is not, there is a and okay, this is the segment routing enable just. Okay, this is the step 1. This is the step 3 to set prefix SID. This is the step 1, step 3. Okay, this is the step 3, connected prefix SID map address family IPv4. This one is the loopback IP index 100. So we are knowing about SR-GP segment routing global address. This is 16,000 to 23,999. So this index 100 means 16,000 plus 100, 16,000 plus 100. That means 16,100 range 1. Okay, exit address family. That means this prefix SID is prefix SID equal to 16,000 plus 100 equal to 16,100. Okay, this one. So this is step 3 configuration, and next step 4 configuration prefix attribute and flag clear, configure terminal interface loopback 0 IP OSPF prefix attribute and flag clear. This is step 4. This is next step 5, configure explicit null attribute with OSPF. Explicit null attribute, set explicit null attributes. So global configuration mode segment routing MPLS set attribute. This is I'm going to set attribute explicit null address family IPv4, explicit null exit address family, set attribute in explicit null. And 6th step, we are going to set attributes, configure segment routing level distribution protocol. Configure segment routing level distribution protocol preference then LDP, preference with OSPF Segment routing is this level protocol. Segment routing level distribution protocol. Configure segment routing level distribution protocol preference with OSPF. This one configure. So set attribute address family IPv4 segment routing level prepared. Then LDP, if LDP is enabled on this topology. So, and fifth step, disable LDP. Disable LDP. Your ultimate goal. No MPLS level protocol LDP, no MPLS LDP router ID, loopback 04, no MPLS LDP router ID, and on exit router, if you enable MPLS IP on interface, then LDP automatically enabled. So you need to, for disable LDP, you must be disable MPLS IP on interface for disabling LDP on XC router. So interface, so you can check which interface is enable MPLS IP, and you go to this interface and no and disable MPLS IP using no MPLS IP command. So our 4, 5, 6 step. This is the 4th step. Interface loopback 0. Yes, this one. This is the step IP OSPF previous attribute and flag clear. This is the 4th step, and 5 and 6 step is the set attribute. One explicit null, and another is SR level prepared. SR level prepared. So this is the this one 6 and 7 maybe. 6 and 5 and 6, 5 and 6, 5 and 6, and this one, and there is no actual LDP. That means show LDP neighbor, show MPLS LDP neighbor. Okay, show MPLS LDP neighbor brief. Show MPLS LDP neighbor brief. 10.10.10.10 LDP ID. Pair ID, pair LDP ID, pair LDP ID 10.10.10. Okay. Show MPLS forwarding table. I think show MPLS LDP interface. Show MPLS LDP binding. Show MPLS LDP, also LDP bindings. Show IP OSPF segment routing. Okay. Show running config. No MPLS LDP auto configure. There is no LDP also. Okay. Show MPLS LDP neighbor. There is no LDP neighbor. Show MPLS LDP neighbor. This one actually Xconnect interface. this is the LDP tunnel. Show Xconnect all. Yes, off. This is the segment. This is the segment LDP segment. Show MPLS LDP neighbor. It's gone. This is for Xconnect tunnel. Xconnect tunnel. Show. idea. Okay, so there is no actually LDP enable. This is the we are using Xconnect for checking L2VPN circuit. So all of three router using the segment routing and same configuration. So we are checking show MPLS, show IP OSPF segment routing, show segment routing MPLS state, show segment routing MPLS state. This is the MPLS enable. Show segment routing MPLS state. This is the MPLS segment routing enable. Show segment routing MPLS state. Show IP OSPF segment routing. Here this is the enable SR attribute segment routing global block. This is the one 16,000 to this one. So we are checking show MPLS forwarding table. This is the L2 circuit, and this one is the prefix SID 16,300. That means router 3. Router 5 16,500. That means router 3 16,300 means so running config. We are using index 300, so 16,000 plus 300 16,300. This is the explicit in this one. This one add means agency SID. A means the agency SID. Okay. So segment routing is enabled. So we are configuring this interface G4 and Z4. This one is Xconnect for connecting CU1 side and CU2 side. So what is the configuration? Show running configure interface Giga Ethernet 4. This is one. No IP no key value node Xconnect remote site 5.5.5 and virtual circuit 1 encapsulation MPLS and router 5. Show running configure interface Giga Ethernet 4. This one Xconnect remote site 1.1.1.1 and virtual circuit 1 encapsulation MPLS. So all the configuration in backbone router is completed. So now we are checking the C1 and C2. C1 we are using IP in this one, and this one 172.160.1 172.160.0.1 and other side 172.160.0.2. So check show IP interface brief. This one 172.160.1. So we are going to ping another site 172.160.2. already this site show IP interface brief and IP already set, so getting reachability ping 172.160.0.1, getting pressing. So this Xconnect interface C1 and C2 communicate with each other on MPLS segment routing backbone, not using LDP. So this is the short description, short lab in SR-MPLS. So thank you everyone. Thanks.